President Joe Biden declares disaster areas in 2 more states following that deadly tornado outbreak in the central U.S. Illinois and Tennessee now join Kentucky as states eligible for federal aid.
FEMA has teams of urban search and rescue and emergency response personnel in Kentucky supporting search and rescue efforts, along with disaster survivor assistance teams to help survivors register for assistance.
President Biden will visit Kentucky tomorrow to get a briefing and view the storm damage firsthand. Over 400 National Guard members have been called in to help. Many are still looking for missing victims. The tornado outbreak killed at least 88 people, 74 of them in Kentucky. And across Kentucky, about 24,000 homes and businesses were still without electricity today. Recovery efforts have begun as state officials race to find shelter for Kentuckians, warning those in the state it may take weeks to restore heat, water, and power. And joining me now is Bishop William Medley from the Diocese of Owensboro in Kentucky. Bishop Medley, welcome very much. Thank you for appearing on our show tonight, Your Excellency. Please tell us about the damage you're seeing in Kentucky.
Well, thank you for inviting me to be here. At least 4 counties in western Kentucky, which are part of the Diocese of Owensboro, have experienced 10 or more fatalities. Any one of those would be the story of the year here. So to multiply that is just staggering. 2 of those communities are Catholic churches have experienced some damage. The church in Dawson Springs is likely going to be a total loss. The church in Mayfield has some significant damage, but is probably repairable. But of course, it's the people's lives immediately right now that we're thinking about. Thousands are left homeless. Thousands more are inconvenienced because power and water are not available. I traveled Sunday to Graves County, which is where Mayfield is. The Church of St. Joseph is the community in Mayfield, but that community gathered outside of Mayfield at a town called Fancy Farm at St. Jerome Church, where we celebrated Gaudete Sunday, and we celebrated the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is especially significant because in the last couple of decades, that small Catholic community has become predominantly an Hispanic community. I'm going tomorrow to visit several different parish sites and to observe the recovery efforts and to affirm and bless the workers who are trying to respond to the immediate human needs. So there's just been a great outpouring of support for us and prayer. We actually know that Pope Francis on Sunday, in his prayer of the Angelus in St. Peter's Square, prayed for Kentucky by name. And that warmed my heart. And I know as more and more Kentuckians are aware that that happened, it will warm their heart as well. I also received a note from the Holy See expressing the Pope's compassion and closeness with those who are suffering at this time. So there's been a lot of good voices come to us in a very, very dark and difficult time.
Well, we are all praying for you. The entire nation is rallying around you. You can better believe that. The members of your diocese, outside of the basics, food, shelter, and heat, what else do they need right now at this moment?
Well, food, shelter, and heat are most essential right now. Housing, I think in your lead-in you said that 24,000 people were still without power.
That's right.
Some of that's going to be very long-term. For example, in the town of Mayfield, the local water tower was toppled. So restoring water service there could take weeks and weeks. So it could be that people whose homes weren't damaged may themselves have to relocate because of utilities. The greater need will come later when we're trying to help those who lost their homes reestablish themselves. Because in many cases, and not surprisingly, this would probably be true in any place in America, a lot of those people are poor, quite poor.
And people's faith, you know, it's shaken at times like these, right? How you as a faith leader, how do you get people to stick with God and to keep faithful and to stay faithful despite all the horrific damage and in some cases lives lost and people injured?
Well, I mentioned that I went to Graves County to gather with St. Joseph Parish. That was an inspiration for me to see people come and want to be together in this terrible tragedy when they had lost family and friends. when they had lost their homes. So at the end of that Mass, the local pastor, Father Eric Riley, primarily addressing the Hispanic community, said, "Vivo Cristo Rey," Christ the King, long live Christ the King. And the community answered 3 times, "Vivo, vivo, vivo." So that gratified me to see that people were grounding themselves in faith, even in a moment of just unimaginable harm.
In some of the reports I've been reading and seeing, it's going to take not just weeks, months, but potentially years for your area of the country to recover. How can people living outside donate or get involved to help in the recovery efforts? Obviously, money. What other ways would you advise?
Right now, it would appear that these communities are sort of overwhelmed with material goods that are being brought in: clothing, water, food. Now, getting those to the proper people is a challenge that we can only figure out on the local level. But we had a special collection among all of our churches in this diocese Sunday to help those affected communities. The coming weekend, the other dioceses of Kentucky and Tennessee are having such second collections. So if anybody wants to help us, financial help is probably the most pragmatic and gives us a lot of versatility in the short run to begin making grants. I've assured our pastors that if there are immediate needs, to meet them, and that we're going to get the support from all over the country. So I want to thank people for that, and they can do that by going to the website of our diocese, and then there's an opportunity to click and make a contribution there, or we tell them how to mail a contribution to the Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Owensboro.
Bishop Medley, you are in our prayers. Stay strong, please. The whole country, again, is pulling for you. You're gonna make it through this, and God bless you for your work down there.
I thank you. I thank you especially for those prayers. God bless you.
All right. See you later.